Hi, Sagittarius. Okay, so this is your February 2025 planetary lineup and the aspects with the degrees. So you can take a snapshot and then compare it to your natal chart and see if anything matches in your natal chart. If any of these degrees hit your natal chart. So, and the other thing is I'll be speeding up the video, so I might sound like I'm talking really super fast, but like blah, blah, blah. You can always change that through the tools icon. If you click on the video, that'll appear and you can change it. And I will not be going over every single thing on here, but I will do the major ones. And I'll tell you about the major theme of the month of February because it's really not really about these aspects. It's the major theme that's going on that'll dominate actually the year ahead. Um, and I mean, don't worry. Like today's what, the third. You might be hearing it way after the third, um, and that's me. Um, I know I'm uploading them like during the first week, and that's because I do have other priorities that I need to, and I'm going through my own change, so I'm trying to get my schedule right. Um, but don't worry about hearing these aspects later on, because these are, like I said, major planets where it's not on that day, on that hour that it affects you. This will affect you way, way after what these aspects are doing. Okay, and like I said, it's really an overall picture of everything that's going on. Plus, I'll be doing either weekly or mid-month detailed scope. I haven't decided which one yet, but yeah. So I'll be rediscussing things in the weekly or mid-month. So let us start. Let me just change screen. Okay, so the major theme for February, February is dominated completely by Pisces weather. And that's usually normal every year around this month. It is all about Pisces. But this month is especially important with this Pisces weather because, like I said earlier, it dominates the year, as well as it is a precursor, a movie trailer, a commercial of what you will experience when a Neptune leaves. Neptune and Saturn leave Pisces. You've been you've had Neptune in Pisces for the last 12 to 14 years, so that's huge. And Pisces is your fourth house of home, family, your parents, your country, your pride, your clan. Pisces also natally rules the 12th house of the psyche, of the past, um, of taking care of someone, of confining spaces. Drugs and alcohol use is covered here. Spirituality, definitely, and faith. And it can be the house of hidden enemies. So, this is a very deeply emotionally rooted house. And you may have been yearning for something regarding home and family, like yearning for the idealistic home and family situation. And especially with you, Sagittarius, you might have idealized something about home and family. And um, going through this journey, you have come to realize some maybe hard truths, uh, especially about your parents. You might have had problems here. But as you went through this transit, at times it was very very emotional. But as you were coming, the last maybe 4 or 5 years, maybe 3 years, you started realizing that your parents too aren't human. That you weren't born with a handbook for them, so they also were going through whatever they were going through, that might have been concealed from you, and you found out now. Um, but you, as this journey, progressed, you were able to heal, to forgive. Um, if there was a shattering of, you know, your ideals, because for Sagittarius, because you're like the happy-go-lucky sign, you're just a very optimistic person, and you care about the truth very very much so. And when there were truths revealed that was disturbing for you, it could have it was some kind of a shattering thing for you, where it really brought you down. You might have lost your fire, and that's normal because Pisces is a water sign. It doesn't really sit well with a fire sign. But besides that, um, what Neptune does is he's the god of ocean, small g. um, and his purpose, the perfect example I give is, I think it's the perfect example, is when you step into a cold pool and you dip your foot in and it's freezing. But once you dip inside completely, um, you don't feel cold anymore because your body becomes numb to it. And that's Neptune's purpose, is to numb you to any harsh truth or pain that you have to go through. Pisces is famous for fearing pain. It wants to escape pain. That's why it's the sign of the two fishes. One goes one way, the other one goes the other way. And yeah, he rules fog and mists, the music industry, the movie industry, oil, perfumes, drugs, and alcohol. So he gives you rose-colored glasses to look at, and there's no boundaries with Neptune. So think of drawing a line in the sand, and the waves come and they wash away those lines. So you've also experienced that with your home and family situation, where um, family members, or maybe romantic partners, or um, other people, like they had no boundaries in regards to your house, your living situation. Um, if it was like a romance, or a child, maybe they didn't respect your boundaries. It was like a vacation. And they come and go, come and go. But again, with Neptune here, it was very dreamy for you. You didn't mind it, but it started getting to the point where it was not helpful to you. You did do a lot of moving. Um, you might have stayed in uncomfortable places, and you didn't have a safe space, so to speak. So in 2023, and I'm sorry if you're a returning listener and you already heard this, you can skip it if you want, and you pros, but for the sake of novices and new listeners, that's why I'm going over it a little bit. I'm not going to spend too much time on it. But yeah, Saturn came in 2023, and started. It gave you an anchor and started pulling you back from that siren's call where you got lost at sea, and it brought you back to shore. And you might say, well, no, I liked it because it did feel like a vacation with Neptune. Um, Even if you were in a yucky place, for you it was heaven. But what Saturn did was, his purpose is to help you crystallize a yearning, a longing, to manifest what you dream of. But it has to be within rules and boundaries so that it can manifest for you. Um, so you started to have some type of restrictions, constraints, boundaries, with a family member or parents or a home situation. Okay, you started getting irritated, or there might have been a falling out with a parent or parents, or something like that, or maybe even you had problems with neighbors, what have you, or a child, like I said. um, and that's just part of this journey to help you realize your dream regarding a home and family that's ideal to you. So um, that's what Neptune. And if I didn't mention it earlier, I think I did, but just for the sake, if I missed it, is I know what we're talking about. We're already on the third or fourth, and you might be hearing this. It's not necessarily regarding like February 1st. I'm going to talk about this aspect. It doesn't mean that it's only on that day and on that hour. These are serious planets, huge planets. These aspects that I'm going to touch on, the major ones, they will reverberate throughout the year. So it doesn't matter if you didn't hear it on the first or second. Okay, I just want to put your mind at ease. Okay. So on February 1st, Venus conjunct Neptune and the North Node in Pisces. Venus conjunct Neptune is absolutely beautiful. It's very, very romantic. Venus loves being in Pisces, and this is just something about your home, your family situation, that you experienced that was lovely. If there was any harshness, any problems you had, especially late last year, this smoothed it out. There was some kind of a compassionate understanding here, and that's lovely. And you're like, okay, so yeah, okay, but this aspect is doubly important because Venus is also conjuncting the North Node in Pisces. So what the nodes do, there's the North Node and then the South Node, and they oppose each other. The North Node is what your higher purpose is what you are supposed to go towards. But the South Node is where we're comfortable, where we know um, uh, our way around. So we tend to get stuck there. But It's it's what you need to release. So how the nodes work is they work with these outer planets as they're bringing about change, um, through eclipses. Okay, eclipses are very powerful. I mean, I know we have full moons and oppositions and squares that you know draw us into change, but eclipses are more powerful because it's just eclipsed. There's nothing you can do. So we'll be having these lunar eclipses, which are endings. Something is eclipsed out of your life to form an empty spot, so that when later on we have a solar eclipse, a new beginning, it fills that vacuum. Okay, and it's karmic in nature. So think back 18, 19 years ago. It's about it relates something to that, but not necessarily exactly that, because the planets were doing other things then, and now they're doing other things now. But it gives you a flavor. And the other thing you can maybe clip a clue is mid-September last year, we did have a partial lunar eclipse in Pisces. And you did experience some kind of an eclipse in your home and family. Something was eclipsed out. And then maybe there was a reversal of some kind. But there was definitely a dual option kind of set up with that eclipse. And again, we're going to continue having these eclipses for the next 18 months because that's how long it takes to get affect those endings and beginnings. So here on February 1st, and again, like I said, reverberating out, Venus conjuncting also in the North Node in Pisces is definitely bringing more harmony to um, this area of your life that you're supposed to go forward towards. Okay. Now we also have the Sun in Aquarius semi-square the North Node in Pisces, and that's why it's important here again. Even though a semi-square is a really quick aspect, um, and squares, and I've been saying this to everyone: do not fear the squares. Squares are good. They jumpstart things. They move things that are stagnant. And the Sun in Aquarius, excuse me, Aquarius is your third house of communication, commuting, siblings, cousins, extended family. Um, it's language, it's vision, is eyesight is here as well. It's your neighborhood, neighbors, and a very close knit community. It also covers social media. So you've been very, very busy about something in regards to the third house. Uh, and it can be a lot of different scenarios. It could have maybe you've had an issue with a sibling or a cousin, or maybe your communication device is electronics, or a car situation that came up. But again, it's Aquarius and Pluto is there, but it just started. It's barely in Aquarius, so I don't see anything really major with that. However, with the semi-square, uh, what this means is that, like I said, you're busy working on something really feverishly regarding a group and the neighborhood and what have you, and you're needing freedom more to do this, um, and with Pisces, your home and family, it's taking your attention a lot too. So that's why the semi-square. That's why the tension. But it's a slight tension. So that's what's opening in the month, and that's what Like I said, it's part of this precursor to what's going on. And there's something important about Venus, but I won't talk about it now. Just a little bit later, because it'll make more sense if I tell you what I want to tell you about Venus. Okay, on the third, Mercury in Aquarius will trine Jupiter in Gemini. This is very lovely. Gemini is your partnership house, so personal, business, and platonic partnerships. Okay, and I already explained what Aquarius is. Um, and this is mutual reception, sort of, because Mercury is the ruler of Gemini, and Aquarius is an air sign like Gemini, and Jupiter is your ruler. You always benefit from Jupiter because Jupiter is always looking out for you. And Gemini also natally rules the third house of communication and commuting and siblings and all that. So you can see the mutual reception here. Um, and with this specific trine, it's something that both these areas of your life are agreeing with. Um, and if there's something that's not within your reach, um, a partner or partners are helping you out somehow. Um, but it's Mercury. Mercury is transactional, so there's an expectation of you helping them out as well. So it's, yeah, back and forth. But just be careful of exaggeration because it is Jupiter, and I won't go into too much detail because you already know, because Jupiter is your ruler. But you are the hopeful, optimistic sign, and Jupiter enlarges everything that it touches. So uh, just the one thing is that because you always see something half full, never half empty. If you are confronted with a problem with a partner, you might exaggerate to make it better because you're always wanting everybody to be happy around you. Okay, so just be careful of exaggeration here. Is all I'm saying. Okay, and let's see where we are on the fourth. Venus enters Aries. So yeah, this is where I'll expand on Venus and what it's doing. So Aries is your fifth house of love, romance, children, creativity, pets, and gambling. It's your house of light romance, of having fun. It's not as serious like partnership house. So, starting the fourth, Venus will start beautifying this area for you. And Venus does draw in um, love, romance, fortune, fame, and all those good things. So, yeah, look to the state starting for all those good things to happen. Now, if you're single and you meet someone here, it is a fiery passion, and you're a fire sign, and Aries is a fire sign. So it's passion and intensity of passion is ignited here. Um, so be careful because it might not last for several reasons. One is Venus will be going retrograde, so it'll be repeating these things. And when Venus goes retrograde, naturally, if it brings love, it takes love away, or some a situation might reverse. Um, that's one reason. Um, the and it's already in shadow retrograde. You might be saying like, well, it's going direct. How can it? It just started going direct. How I'm explaining that is that um, when it turns retrograde in Aries, it's going to go all the way back and back into Pisces, and then it'll start moving direct. So that's why I'm saying it's already in shadow retrograde right now. Okay, and the second reason is that Aries craves excitement. Um, and independence, very much independence, more so. So it might. But I'm trying to say that if it is a new romance or something, just be careful because it might start with a bang, but it might fizzle out because it's more of a fiery romance here. And Venus doesn't really like being in Aries too much. And the third reason that I want you to pay close attention here is because this is also a precursor. This Venus transit is also a precursor, a commercial, a movie trailer of what to expect when Neptune and Saturn enter Aries in April, March, in April, sorry. Um, yeah, yeah, March, April. Well, Neptune first enters Aries, and then Saturn follows up and enters Aries as well. So that's another reason. And Venus rarely does retrogrades, and when these heavy duty planets retrograde, it's not like Mercury. Mercury does retrogrades 3 times a year, and we're used to it. And it's usually, oops, miscommunication or lost something or something. Uh, Venus is not Mercury. It's a very serious planet. So when it's doing this retrograde, it means there's something there that is important, and you need to pay attention to. Again, if anything, I'm just giving you a clue so that you know how Neptune and Saturn's transit will begin with Aries. Um, yeah, and that's regarding your fifth house. And hooray, yippee yay! Your ruler, Jupiter, will station direct in Gemini, your partnership house, here on the 4th. Um, and I always mention whenever planet stations, pay attention because a veil is lifted and you get to sneak a peek of what's going on. Um, and your Gemini, your partnership house, again, personal, business, or platonic. And since it's the sign of the twins, you do have um, more than one partnership that's important for you. And then think back to last year when Jupiter first entered Gemini. You started having an opportunity, a really great opportunity with a partner, or a couple of, maybe even four, because it's Gemini. Um, and it was going really well, but something happened where it stalled, where it got sort of put on the back burner. And that was because Jupiter expands everything. You might have felt overwhelmed as well, um, and it was because Jupiter started retrograding to review all this good stuff that was coming through with your partnerships. Um, but and Something might have gotten reversed, or maybe a problem with the partnership maybe one or a couple. Uh, well, here is when it starts going direct, and if you've had any problems, and if it is to your benefit, because remember, Jupiter protects you, it will smooth things out. If it is not to your benefit, this partnership, it will expand problems that you were having during the retrograde, um, because it's not good for you. Jupiter is protecting you. So either or, but um, yeah, it's nations direct, and you're going to start getting really busy with partners. The next thing I want to talk about is on February 5th. We do have a first quarter moon in Taurus. Um, and usually quarter moons are endings, are winding down. It's like coming to an end. And why I'm mentioning this one regarding Taurus, because we've had Uranus in Taurus for the past 7 years, since 2018. And Taurus for you is your sixth house of health, habits, routines, scheduling. So yeah, you have had abrupt shifts and situations, exciting situations, maybe even regarding a very busy, chaotic house. Your schedule has constantly been shifting. Your routine, you have to be like at two, three different places at the same time, taking care of someone. There might have been an urgency in taking care of someone at the short notice, and your health too. Something about your health. A couple of times might have been a wake up call. Um, and pets too. Small pets is covered in this area. It is the house of chaos and gossip, as it's um, called. So, and what's significant is Uranus, this planet of shock and surprise, will be leaving Taurus in May. It's been there for 7 years, so that's a huge shift. And this quarter moon again is showing you how it'll end, or what, because Uranus, even though it's leaving in May, it still has a couple more surprises up its sleeve. Um, the only two planets that scare me, Sagittarius, is Pluto and Uranus. um, Uranus just does things out of the blue. It doesn't care about um, rules and things like that. Um, and it's just a very fast planet. It's unlike Saturn, where Saturn says, "Well, yeah, it'll take us about 2 months or 2 years to go over these few mountains or around them." Uranus says, "What? No, we're not doing that. We're jumping over these mountains." So yeah, just you will be called upon again to, like, you know, having to drop everything and rearrange your schedule and do things like that. But this quarter moon should give you something of a clue. Now, Taurus does also natally rule the second house of job, income, and value system. So this could be very well related to your job, whether it was paid or unpaid. Like I said, if it was taking care of someone that mattered to you. And Taurus is about hard work, really, like um, determination. It's a fixed sign. It's a stubborn sign, and it takes a long time for it to decide on something. So something about your scheduling or routine, there was some sort of determination that helped you get through it. And maybe you have been some kind of a perfectionist in your daily activities. The other thing is Uranus and Taurus, because it covers the second house of job and income. Um, it's very creative and unique. Taurus is ruled by Venus. Taurus is extremely creative. Many artists and singers are under the Taurian zodiac sign. Um, so, what do you value is associated with this, and you have actually you do have like creative, unique ideas about a job or a routine or taking care of someone, and you might have already started that. But in any case, yeah, Uranus will leave Taurus, and that roller coaster ride that you've been having regarding schedules and routine will cease once Uranus leaves Taurus. But this first quarter moon might give you a clue. All right, on the 7th, Neptune will conjunct the North Node in Pisces. This is very dreamy as well. But the one that I'm more heightened on is on that same day, Venus in Aries will sextile Pluto in Aquarius. This is serious. Um, Venus is a serious planet, and excuse me, it is in your fifth house of love, romance, children, and creativity. And Aquarius is your third house of communication, commuting, and siblings. Uranus natally rules groups and friends and your hopes, wishes, and dreams of the future. The 11th house also can have a second or third marriage here. Uh, Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, so it's the first house of image and the way you are seen. Um, so there's discussion here regarding romance or a child, um, and it's a sextile, so it is lovely and a secure feeling. Any something powerful regarding maybe you meet a very good-looking person. Um, that might be a romance contender, maybe in the grocery store, in your neighborhood. But it's a lovely and secure aspect. If you have had any problems with communication, um, with a lover, partner, or child, this can be smoothed out and taken more seriously. And if it is romance, it could be fiery and scary because it's Pluto. But if you want to pursue this, it could be serious. Um, Again, this may also include something of a partnership, maybe a professional opportunity that benefits this group project you're working on in your third house. Um, what it is there's a passion here, and there's sorry about the sirens. I apologize. I'm a city person. I love being in the city, but sometimes I want to be on a farm, far away from all this noise. Um, yeah, well, look to February 7th because it is a very nice aspect, and there's some kind of a security and understanding um, of, of of whoever it is that you're surprised by their compassionate understanding here. Um, and again, it's something of like an exchange of work for ideas or ideas for work. So analytics and creativity. And scratch my back, I scratch yours. It's one of those type of deals. All right, on February 9th, Mercury catches up with the Sun in Aquarius. We call it Mercury Cazimi. So any um, missing information or lost item could be discovered here, either by like a genius revelation, because Aquarius is the genius of the zodiac, um, or someone coming forward and letting you know a detail um, or some information that you need. The other thing on February 9th is Mars in Cancer will trine Saturn and Neptune. All right, so we've had one Mars in Cancer trine Saturn in Pisces, the end of September. Now, this is the second one, and we will have another one on April 4th. When this first happened at the end of September, there was some kind of an urgency. Cancer is your eighth house of joint finances, intimacy, government benefits, credits. It's the money you gain from other people, like in lump sums. And Cancer also rules the home and family, and especially the mother. So that could have been in the mix. But there was some kind of urgency, some kind of heat, demands here at the end of the month. Um, but but there was a fear of some kind. However, Saturn in your home and family situation, and again, something about the past because it's Pisces, was trying to give you an okay not to be afraid. Um, that it would be okay if, for example, you were concerned about losing money from a joint finances type of a deal, and you were worried about a living situation because that's how it's being set up here. Saturn was telling you, don't fear it. That's not going to happen. You're okay. You're safe. But you might have missed that clue because you were just way too busy with this heat and urgency. Um, well, now you get another second chance here, and you may step forward, but not all the way. There's still hesitation. There's still some kind of fear here, and that's because Mars is retrograde. It's still unsure of itself. It doesn't have the full confidence. So you're halfway here. You're halfway there. I mean, so that when Mars goes direct, and on April 4th, this trine comes about again, you step up to the plate and you say, okay, yeah, I'm okay. I am okay. I'm not scared. And you set everything straight, or something is set straight here. Okay. The next day. Okay, so this is when we kind of um, shake and bake. February 10th, Mercury in Aquarius will square Uranus in Taurus. So, again, we discussed what Aquarius is, and Mercury is communication, thinking, um, communicating, teaching something. So, this is a double whammy for you because Aquarius is also rules your third house of communication, commuting, and Aquarius natally rules the 11th house of friends and groups and associations. And it's squaring crazy Uranus, unpredictable Uranus in Taurus. Your scheduling, your health, your habits, pets, and things like that. And we never know what Uranus will do. But we do know here it's a square, it's a tense aspect, and something about freedom, independence, but inclusive of security, because it's Taurus. Remember, there's a need to be secure with Taurus. And Taurus also natally rules job and income. So there may be a loss of a job because you wanted to or want to do things your own way, your values not aligning with this new atmosphere that has been taking shape, this new community around you, this new world. Um, the only thing is because Mars is still retrograde and your values not aligning. Plus, you are a fiery sign, and Taurus is a fixed, stubborn sign. You may not like this new setup, these new rules, and you may be stubborn, or somebody else could be stubborn, or waiting on things to go back. Um, this will not happen. We're not going back. This is a new world. So, for this transit to go smoothly, and this will be easy for you because you're a mutable sign, you have to understand, try to critically think and understand this new world, these new rules, um, and, and, and try to fit in. Because what I'm seeing for you here is something about a group, maybe in the past, might have hurt you. There's like a wound here. Um, and some of you are very outgoing, but some of you are sort of reclusive, like the once bitten, twice shy kind of deal. Um, but um, but yeah, hiding is not going to solve anything here, and sticking to the old way or waiting for the old way to come about is not going to happen. So, and it's Uranus. Um, that's why I say it's an abrupt, surprising shift is for people like this who are reclusive or who wait. Because Taurus takes a long time to make a decision. That's why it's considered stubborn. So yeah, it would behoove you to learn this new world, these new rules, and how they've come about, so that you can make it okay within your psyche. But it is a tense aspect. It's one of those aspects where when it happens, it's like, oh my god, tragedy. But then later on, it's like, oof, you know what? That was a blessing in disguise. That's exactly what this is. All right. Um, on the 11th, then this time the Sun in Aquarius will square Uranus and Taurus. So yeah, the previous day there was talk, thinking of that, and here the next day, this Sun illuminates this for you and others to see that the way to go forward is is learning these new rules, this new way of life. And like I said, Sagittarius, for you it's easy. You're a mutable sign. Um, just the stubbornness might be just getting you out of your comfort zone. All right, on the 14th, Mercury enters Pisces. A whole lot of talking with your home, with your family, parents, regarding your home and living situation. Um, and again, probably about money, because Pisces is that. Um, and this is nice as well because Pisces co-ruler, it's co-ruled by Jupiter. Jupiter is your sign, your protector, your ruling planet. Uh, Mercury is transactional. It's talking, it's thinking, it's communicating. And Pisces, besides it being your fourth house again, is your 12th house of the past and confining spaces. But here, Pisces is also very psychic, intuitive, dreams, vivid dreams. So with Mercury here, it's empathetic, listening and talking. It's a duality of speech and or thinking. You might say something that's nuanced and it can translate to something else. Um, Exaggeration maybe to be compassionate. Um, and this is so pay attention to this as well, because this will be the first Mercury retrograde of 2025. And again, like I said, uh, because Neptune will be leaving, there's a huge shift. It makes sense to have a retrograde. You need to get it right. We need to get it right. So it will pass the degrees 3 times. Once forward, once retrograde, and again direct. But Mercury rules Gemini. Gemini is your partnership house. Gemini is very practical and, like I said, transactional. Pisces is all about feelings and emotions and psychic. So there will be confusion in thinking or talking, missed information, missed nuance. So yeah, that's why we'll have the Mercury retrograde. Okay, and then the next most important is not that. Well, on February 18th, the Sun then enters Pisces, so all that talking and thinking, now it is illuminated. Uh, the Sun disinfects it. It illuminates every dark crevice for you and others to see what's going on with your home and family. Um, and as the Sun enters Pisces, it's illuminating and ending. Um, and a lot of people say, well, it's the Sun, it's not the Moon. What are you talking about? It's because Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac, so it's an ending, and an anticipation of a new beginning when the Sun then goes into Aries and spring. So this is like tying up loose ends. It's something like a spring cleaning, okay? And this can also illuminate how Neptune, and what circumstances, how it will leave Pisces. So pay attention to here. Also on the same day, I usually don't mention asteroids, only if it matters or they affect your sign. And for you, on the 18th, Juno will enter your sign. And Juno is all about commitment, marriage, uh, business commitments, platonic commitments. Um, Juno was Jupiter's wife, so this will be beneficial to you, Sagittarius. Um, on the 20th, Mercury in Pisces will square Jupiter in Gemini. Um, Mutual reception here. Mercury rules Gemini and Jupiter rules Pisces. Um, is the co-ruler of Pisces. And yes, this is a square, tense aspect, but it's in mutual reception. So what happens here is, it's a, again, you scratch my back, I scratch yours. So these are emotionally charged words or communication, but after whatever this tense aspect is, the square, there is a feeling of, um, yeah, we might have just exaggerated too much, maybe taken it a little too far, because on the 23rd, then Mercury in Pisces will trine Mars in Cancer. Um, so maybe you're discussing something about a home and family situation with a partner, and there might be confusion here, where you're not getting the feedback you want from a partner, or vice versa. Um, but squares are good. People do not fear the squares. They're good. They jumpstart things. Anything stagnant is moved forcefully here. So it's good. All right, on the 23rd, yay and hallelujah. Mars stations direct in Cancer. And Ceres also enters Pisces, so the planet of compromise is here. So Mars stationing direct again. Um, Pay attention. You might sneak through the veil and see what's going on, or how Mars will end its transit in Cancer. Again, Cancer is your 8th house of joint finances, intimacy, about the past, government loans, and benefits. And this area of your life is important. It also includes, because Cancer rules the family, like I mentioned, and the mother. And this area of your life is important to you, um, because most of you, some or maybe half of you, are not like working traditionally. There's something unique about your job, and maybe it's a startup or something, and someone is carrying your weight or helping you. So that's why this is an important aspect here. Um, and it translates in some serious discussion. Maybe it's something sensitive. Maybe it was um, something in regards to the discussion you had yesterday, tense discussion on the 22nd, and now you say, oh, I need to say this as well. Um, but it leads to this Mars stationing direct. And what Mars does here is say, okay, that is enough of all this talking, all this feeling. I got it. I have the full story. It's time for war. I'm doing that setup for every sign. Um, no, seriously, now Mars, because Mars only knows direct forward action, movement. It's the god of war. Doesn't do feelings. So yeah, now it says I have the full story and the confidence, and let's put the pedal to the metal. So it starts going. You have full force of Mars behind you with this. I mean, it might start out slow because it's just stationing, but anything you need or anything that was reversed or canceled regarding your eighth house now will see direct action and heat. And I don't know if I've mentioned this, but I know I've mentioned it in other videos. Is Mars just says, "What do you want?" And you say, "I want that," and he's like, let's go get it." He's fearless. All right, on the 25th, Mercury will conjunct Saturn and Pisces. Okay, so more serious talk, um, discussions, debates, thinking. If it's not with someone, it's within yourself, within your psyche. Um, and since it's Saturn, it's about constriction and restraints, and you're wanting to be free of those. You've just had enough of it. Poor Saggies. Um, yeah, you don't do restraints. Not as much as Aries or Aquarius. They're like crazy about that, but you're a very freedom loving sign. So this has been brutal for you. But here's again, there's something, it's a serious talk, it's a serious restriction. And Saturn is saying, um, no, it's not time yet. You still need to be within these boundaries if you want this dreamy home and family situation to manifest. So it's something of like giving up, like being, oh my God, whatever, I'm so done with this. Um, Something like, because it's Pisces, it's about spirituality and faith. It'll be like, okay, well, it was not meant to be, so I'm done with it. But if you remember what I told you about the trine that's coming up between Mars in Cancer and Saturn in Pisces on April 4th, um, that should give you staying power. And I know it's Mars and here it's Mercury, but it has to do with home and family again, because Cancer rules natally in home and family. But this is a conjunction here, but that will will have something to do with you getting what you want regarding your home and family. Um, or this could also be like when people finally give up, like um, they give up and magically it happens. They get what they want. So it's like the energy of acceptance, compassionate acceptance and belief, and just saying if it's God's will, um, then the lesson is learned, and Saturn then releases those restrictions based on you finally understanding and healing from this. Um, so that's very, very important here. Okay. Um, yeah, because then Mercury will in Pisces will semi-sextile Chiron in Aries. So Chiron is the wounded healer. Whatever wound you have regarding a child, a romance, a pet, or what have you, you're able to think compassionately, um, or speak compassionately, and it heals this. And it's coming about by this serious talk regarding home and family. It could be bittersweet as well. All right. On the 27th, the new moon in Pisces. Very, very important. It's not just any old moon. um, One reason, yes, is because it's related to this ending of Neptune's journey. But more importantly, this new moon will be an eclipse um, with a note. Uh, so something will be eclipsed regarding your home, your family, your parents, um, in about 6 months' time from this date. It might be the move that I'm talking about, that I mentioned earlier. It could be that, and I would say that's just mundane, but this is bigger than that. This is much bigger than that, Sagittarius. Um, so look to the new moon and any discussions, because there is on the same day Mercury and Pisces will sextile Uranus and Taurus. Yeah, so something abrupt happens, a shift, um, and yeah, with the new moon, and yeah, so look to that and see what happens that day. So that is the ending of the February horoscope. Just the one thing that I forgot is, um, so what happens this month is the precursor to almost the entire year, as well as, more importantly, to the end of the year, because we will be busy with really, really new things, new adventures, Sagittarius, in May, June, July, and August. But then these planets will retrograde back. Uh, Saturn and Neptune back in Pisces. Taurus, Uranus will leave Taurus and enter your relationship house. So your relationship house is going to start getting shaken up, but then it'll retrograde back to Taurus. Jupiter will change signs from Gemini to Cancer, but sorry, it will retrograde in Cancer. It won't go back to Gemini, but it'll retrograde. So we're going back, and before you kick your TV, throw your drink at it, or throw away your phone while you're listening to this. No, we are not going back to the same stuck situation. We are going back to a new world, to tie up loose ends, for reconciliation, for resolving things, for um, uh, I don't know why I keep forgetting what this word is, but it's related to consolation, um, resolution, tying up loose ends, because we are going to be done completely with all this weather by the end of the year. Because 2026, it's all whatever you experienced in the months of May through August, April through August, that's going to start full blast. And you want to go into that future um, without carrying baggage with you. Because the saying goes, if you hold on to both, you lose both. And but it will be cathartic at the end of the year, very healing, very nurturing, very compassionate. Um, and I've been saying this to other signs. My mother, God rest her soul, when I used to be angry and say, I hate this, I hate my life, I hate this, and she would just smile and go, and I'd be like, well, why are you laughing at me? She said, because um, in the future, you'll look back on these days with nostalgic, loving feelings, and you'll wish you can return to these days. I miss my mom a lot. Anyway, yeah, so we're going back. It's going to be bittersweet, but it will be a nice release because it's Pisces. Pisces just makes everything feel like it's okay. It'll be okay. It'll be a lovely, lovely feeling. It'll be very healing. Okay, Sagittarius. So yeah, pay attention. If you have any questions, you can leave them down below in the comments. Right, I will talk to you soon, either with a weekly or mid-month.